Look at this behemoth. It's so big I can barely fit it in the shot. I'm here at the Hudson Highlands Nature Museum, which used to be the Museum of the Hudson Highlands when I was growing up. It's in Cornwall, New York, right on Route 9W, going out of town. And this property was owned by Lewis Beach and bought by James J. Stillman around 1890 to 1893. And at the time, this was a state-of-the-art dairy barn. Look at this. This is a spiral staircase that goes up to the loft. And it's a big loft. So I bet it was a storage barn. I'm sure they had a lot of hay from the fields around here. There's a lot of land. Right now, it's not hayed anymore. It's used as a nature preserve, and there are trails that run throughout this property, and they go past different water sources, which I would imagine were reservoirs when this place was farmed. I'm not sure. This is the visitor center for the museum. I'm not sure if this was the renovated original house, but I remember when the Kims lived here back in the 80s, and Mr. Kim was a developer, and he wanted to turn this into a conference center and a golf course, and the residents of Cornwall were very much against that. Here's some beautiful flowers. That's, oh geez, I can't think of the name, it escapes me. You'll probably know. Here's some roses coming to an end. And here's some beautiful larkspur right here with some milkweed mixed in. Isn't that lovely? I'm not going to walk all the trails, they're pretty extensive. But I'm just going to give you an idea. Out there in the distance, underneath the setting sun, that's called Goose Pond. It's full of fish, and there's lots of baby geese there. The geese did very well here this year. Looking off in this direction, that's Sackett Mountain. That's part of Black Rock Forest. The trails that come out of the museum property lead to the top of that, and it's a great way to get into Black Rock Forest. There's a beautiful view up there. There's the old fuselage of an airplane that crashed, I think back in the 60s or early 70s. Here's a great playground for the kids. I don't think there's one man-made thing in there except for maybe nuts and bolts and long screws, but it's mostly just made of fallen trees. It's called Grasshopper Grove. This museum hosts many children's workshops, and I know quite a few mothers whose children came here and it changed them. Oh, there goes Bunny. It's a great year for bunnies. When I say change them, I mean in a very good way, because they just came out of here. Instead of little boys and little girls, they came out of here young men and young women. Look at that. Pretty cool. You can even make your own music. Words to live by. Here's a magnificent shagbark hickory. Then I have to come back here in the fall and see if I can get some hickory nuts. So I'm not going to blind you with the sun, but I thought this would be a nice quick introduction to the Hudson Highlands Nature Museum for anyone who's never been here or who would like to come and do some hiking or just picnic, lay on the grass in the sun. No dogs allowed though, so just keep that in mind. One of their most recent projects they just did And tours was the maple tours for the maple syrup season. And this is one of their sugar shacks that they kept running the whole time. They do sell some of their syrup. It's not a big income for them. It's mostly for the instructional aspect. There's another bunny. There he goes, a little baby. Lots of bunnies around. He's not even afraid. I almost want to grab him by the back of the neck and give him a little snuggle, but I'm not going to do that. So here's one of the sugar shacks. And there's the vat for boiling maple syrup. Good supply of wood. This building right here is used for a lot of their programs. And beyond that, if you can see in the distance with the setting sun half exposing the tree, is a very old cottonwood. It's probably been here for a good 100 years. And when you're here this time of year, be careful. You might get hit in the head with a swallow, a barn swallow or a tree swallow. They're all over the place. They've got babies to feed. So there you have it. Quick little tour of the old Stillman farm. I know it as Kendridge Farm because it was once owned by the Archdiocese, and it was still a viable farm that made money through hay. Well, have a good night, and thanks for joining me.